And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Makayla Loves Gymnastics. And as you all can see, today we have a very special co host in the house. We have Miss Takesha Goldberg, the mother of the one and only Darian Goldberg, the famed Auburn gymnast. And today we will be talking about, you know, the black issues, we will be talking about the hot button issues. Of course, we have to talk about, I would be remiss as a gymnastics blogger if I did not talk about Jordan Chiles and the Olympic bronze medal scandal that is rocking the world. I know y'all listened to lots of opinions on this situation, but it wasn't my opinion. So we are going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about, while we have a famous gym mom on the show today, we're going to talk about a very famous gymnast who biological mother has decided to start speaking out, you know, right when the Olympic Games happened, not months ago, not years ago, but right now, in this very moment. And we're going to talk about why, just our opinions on that situation, And finally, we're going to talk about, the a little bit of gymnastics gossip, a little bit of gymnastics tea that I don't know if y'all caught or whatever when the University of Georgia put up their team picture and a very famous gymnast just so happened to be on that roster. So we need to discuss that too. Um, First of all, Tiki, how is Darian doing? Is she over there enjoying the WWE limelight or whatever?
She is having the time of her life. So she's been there almost, well, she tried out, it's been about a year ago since she tried out. She's been training since, I want to say, the first week of October. So she's done live matches with Stevie. She had like a tag team. She has not made her debut yet. Her thing is everybody's like, they need to hurry up and Darian needs to debut. So she is that type of person that she's going to look and see what everybody else is doing. What WWE is doing now is that they are recruiting a lot of athletes because they said it's easier to teach an athlete to wrestle than teaching wrestlers athleticism. So that's why they started the Next in Line program. So they have a lot of cheerleaders, they have a lot of gymnasts, and all you really see is a bunch of girls flipping around the ring. She's like, I don't want to be like everybody else. So she's really taking her time trying to learn actual wrestling. She's like, I can throw in a cool flip here and there. I just don't want to be the same or look the same as everybody else because they do cuts every 6 months. So you know, but she is really enjoying herself. She picked out her name about a month ago, so they have to have everybody's name trademarked. So she doesn't even know what it is. They just had her pick five first names and five last names, and then they choose. So, but yeah, she is really enjoying herself.
I'm so happy to hear that, especially with so many former gymnasts, especially on the collegiate level, who we are now realizing may have not had the experience that we think they have had. It's really good to see some somebody make it out the sport and seem to have happy normal life outside of the sport. I know this wasn't a topic, but it just hit me. Real quick, what are your opinions over what Makayla Skinner got going on over there on in her universe and the whole dramedy that she is trying to start for no reason?
She's a clout chaser. She always has been, and it's crazy because I used to be a Makayla Skinner. I loved her back before she went to college and when she was elite. I think we may be still friends on Facebook. I used to send her encouraging messages. You know what I do, and then I think I heard a lot of people talk about what a mean girl she was, and I just never saw that side of her. until there's a video. I'm gonna have to find it and send it to you, Makayla. Um, Darion's freshman year when they did the vault. Um, when they did the vault uh trophies and they handed them out. I think Makayla. I'm not Makayla. Yeah, Makayla might have came in second. So when they were announcing the girls that won, like first place, all the girls that tied, like the way she just looked at, and it wasn't everybody. It was the way she looked at my child and kind of like rolled her eyes when they announced her name. I ain't like her ever
Can
since.
I ask? Can I ask this question? Was this in 2017?
This was in 2019.
This is in
This is when Darion
2019.
won
Be-
nationals. Yeah, her
yes,
freshman year.
because there's this former gymnast who went to Arkansas. Her name is Brielle Swan, and she speaks of an incident that at national championships she had with Makayla Skinner in 2017 that made her have a disdain for Makayla Skinner. I don't know if you know what it was or if you were there, but would you have any kind of clue what that could have possibly been?
No clue, because I wasn't really into the college. I watched it, but wasn't really.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't
You
know the
wasn't really
behind
into
the
it until
scenes
Darion got
stuff.
there.
No, I wasn't really into the behind the scenes stuff until Darion got there. Because, like I've always said, we see what they show on Friday Night Heights, and unless you're in it, you don't know the behind the scenes stuff that happens. It's just like the same thing with Suni. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when she came out with her story, and like I said, it was I got a lot of hate because I said tell the truth or tell the whole story. And like I said, I'm not going to say that she didn't get any hate because she did. But my thing is, you have people like her fans and stuff that started like trolling some of the girls that didn't show her any hate. Darion was so glad that Suni was there. She was like, I have help. She was because she was one of the ones that was carrying the team. She was one of the few that was really
Right.
nice to Suni. I was the one that gave her a lot of advice because she didn't have her mom around. So a lot of times when she had mental health issues or she had breakdowns where people would just look at her because nobody knew what to say, I'm the one calling the coaches like, yo, Suni didn't get on the bus with the rest of the girls. She's coming with Keith, the security guard. This is what happened. You might want to catch her before she come in here and fix this. But then you have people that are her fans that don't know what happened because there was no, well, this person was mean, that person was mean. They just took it as the whole team was mean and jealous. Like you saw, you got people trolling my baby on Twitter. That same girl was writing nasty messages on Darion's Instagram page, baby. By the time Darion saw her, she was ready. But old girl backed off because that wasn't what she wanted. So,
And then the sad part about the situation is Darion has said that she also experienced a lot of the same similar things. Like it wasn't so much because Suni was Sunisa Lee, it was a lot of the girls had issues with people who always made lineups and they didn't. So they
that's
would
exactly what it
retaliate
was.
on that
That's what it was.
on that fact. Not so much
Right.
that Sunisa was the Olympic champion, it was Sunisa always made lineups and other girls didn't get opportunities to make lineups and Darion was experienced a lot of the same similar things.
Right.
So
But then
I think it's go ahead.
the difference between the two was Darion was expected to show up just like the rest of the team. This is why the girls didn't hate Suni because she was Suni. They knew who she was. They knew what she would contribute coming in. We knew she was expected to do all four events. Now the girls knew that with her coming in, they had a better shot at the final four. They were grateful about that. And like I said, the entire athletic department let the team down. It wasn't just Suni that they let down. It was the team. When she came in, it was like the coach, the beam coach, actually was gone the whole summer. She was traveling with Suni doing Dancing with the Stars. That shouldn't have happened. Like, you are their coach. you should have been there. Or if you weren't going to be there, those girls should have known. I remember one of the gymnasts asking, like, where was Ashley? She got cussed out because she asked that question. There should have been a conversation had with the girls. Suni's coming in. She's gonna do Dancing with the Stars. Ashley's gonna be traveling with her. So we, this is how we're gonna handle training for the summer. They didn't get that. She didn't have to come in and do Saturday morning workouts at 6 and 7 a.m. like the rest of the team. She was able to go and travel and go visit her boyfriend. So it was just the things that was required of the team was not always required of her. That in itself was more of the issue, because you can't expect
Correct.
your team to do XYZ and say you have to be at every practice, every this, every that in order to make the lineups. But then she was able to do what she wanted to do and still come in and make lineups. Like, you can't leave on Saturday morning and come back on Tuesday or Wednesday and you haven't practiced with us or practiced with the team and then you still make lineups. Like, that's gonna present issues between the girls. So that's pretty much what that was. And I mean,
And then,
her
from my
her
understanding, the girls who were making lineups were not the ones who were the bullies. Like the girls who it didn't really matter whether Suni was there or not, they still were going to make lineups. They weren't the
right,
bullies. It
they
was
were
the
gonna make
ones who,
lineups.
correct, it was the ones who were like the bubble athletes who were like, well, why? I don't give a damn that she is the Olympic champion. I'm here at practice every day. I should be able to go up at this Sora event or whatever, whatever. And a lot of the girls felt like, I'm not saying they were right for feeling this way. I'm just saying this was the feeling. Like, I want people to be clear. Clarity is our friend. I want people to be clear when they, at least if you're going to be mad at something, be mad at the correct thing. The thing that I
Right.
think that Suni was trying to say was that I don't think she was saying like Darion was actually picking on me or this person was actively picking on me. What I think she was saying is people kind of iced her out because they felt like her celebrity and her status was getting her things that no matter what they were doing, they could not achieve the same thing. So maybe,
I
and
feel like
then
the whole team felt like that. I feel like the whole team felt like that because, like I said, Jeff set the girls down. I don't know if Suni had a conversation with him when she was just like she feel like the team don't like her, or people were treating her differently. Jeff set the team down, had a conversation with them, and the last thing Darion said to him was, "I'm glad you finally got the balls to, to acknowledge that and to confront the team. But where was that energy when I was going through that my freshman year?" So you pick and choose who you're going to have those stipulations for, because my baby went through the same thing, but nobody cares because again, this where it goes back to, as Black women, we're expected to be strong. People just expect that we've gone through so much, we've dealt with so much. Darion's gonna be fine because they know her mama was gonna make sure she was fine. But Darion also spoke up for herself, whereas Suni really didn't have her mom there. And it wasn't that she didn't have her mom. I don't know what the whole situation was. We were told certain things about the mom. I'm not that parent that's going to listen to what a child says about their parent. At nationals, her mom was pretty much isolated. I went and sat next to her, introduced myself to her, and talked to her because everybody was like avoiding her like the plague. Nobody know what went on in that lady's household except for what they were told. We know children don't always tell the truth. And after listening to or after reading the story that was put out, I was just like, okay, so there was not a there was some untruths told. So it could have been the same thing with her mom. Like, a lot of people say, oh, her mom and dad were not there, but then we saw pictures, she was there. Like, people just really need to mind their business when it comes to stuff like that. And I don't
correct,
think it was so much her, it was the fans, because like she never said anybody was jealous of her. The fans made it to be bigger than
correct.
what it
And
was.
then the thing that bothered me about the whole situation is the fans automatic out of all of the gymnasts at Auburn, the fans automatically assumed it was Darion. Like, why would you even assume that Darion had her own? superstar, had her own achievements at Auburn. Maybe I
before
would assume it
before
would be other girls.
before
Yeah, like
Sunni
I
got
don't
there.
even understand.
And the one thing, like, what we all know is, like, Darian had no reason to be jealous. Like, she's not a jealous person. She can't even tell you what her
Absolute,
teammates are
Daria
working.
is the most sweetest, kindest. Like she take the time out, helping me, helping addicts, helping like Daria is amazing. Like I don't
Yeah,
understand why. Oh, I do understand it, and it leads us to the next conversation because she's black, and it's very easy to
yeah,
just make it be about
right.
a
We
black
have this
person
stigma,
and a black.
right? We have this
Correct.
stigma, and people think that we are a certain way. And you know what I think it is too? I think it was that whole queen and crown thing, because what's the lady's name that's the head coach at UNC? She used to be the coach at Georgia.
Uh, um,
I can't remember her name.
I don't remember.
But anyways, so she came to Auburn camp, I want to say the year after Darion's freshman year, and she just watched her. This lady walked up to my baby at the end of camp, and she was like, you are totally different than what I thought that you were. And Darion said, what do you mean? She said, we see you with this big personality and the crown and all this. She said, and a lot of people mistake that for not confidence, but for cocky. She said, and I realized watching you and spending the weekend with you, that's just you in character. And Darion said, yeah. She said, Jeff told us when we got there, when the cameras are on us, it's lights, camera, action. She know how to turn it on and turn it off. When she got to go out there and be the queen on the floor, the queen on whatever, she gonna give you that. But when she's done, because gymnastics was not who she was. It was what she did. So I mean,
Absolutely.
she never had a reason to be jealous. It don't matter how many people win national championships from here on out. The one thing that will never change is she was the first and will always be the first.
And
I
that's
don't
the
care
other
when.
thing. That's a very, very valid point. Like, I don't understand why people are attacking. It has calmed down a little bit from what I'm seeing, but how could you even fix your mouth to attack or fix your fingers because you're damn sure just typing it to type out something attacking Darian about Sunni when Darian was the only other person other than Sunni winning titles for Auburn. Like, it just don't make sense. It don't make
Right.
sense.
Yeah, it's not like she didn't have her own stuff going on. So she
Correct.
had no reason to. So,
Correct.
it is what it is. And the crazy thing is, like I said, even with all of that going on and people attacking Darian and messaging her and saying nasty things, during the Olympics, if you notice, Darian was the only one still sharing all of Sunni's stuff. She don't have an issue with Sunni
Correct.
at all. Because, like she said, the girl was treated different by some of her team. She will tell you, she will acknowledge that some of the girls did not treat her well, but she also was not treated
And
well.
and to be fair, if we're gonna play both sides, how would you feel if you chose to go to a school, Auburn, at the time did not have any Olympians, at the time was like a beast, and you knew that we're going there, that you knew you were going to a school that probably was never going to make it to SEC, probably never going to make it to championships. And then they basically said, "Hey, yeah, Sunisa Lee's coming here after the Olympics, and now you have to readjust. Now all of this camera pressure. Now everything that you do is on the NC on ESPN. Now all your competitions are now being played on TV. Like it's a whole other different level of pressure that I don't
Right.
think Auburn did the best of jobs preparing the other girls for as well. It's not like
Well,
it's not like Auburn was. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
they were
It's not
selling
like
out.
Auburn was.
Like, even go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Even
but I'm just
before
they
she
were
came,
selling out, but that's what I'm talking about. The level of attention
right, right,
and the level
right.
of because they started honestly when Darian won her vaulting national title, then everybody was like, "Oh, I run gymnastics." And then when Sunni got there,
Yeah.
the attention happened even more. I'm just saying, from my
Yes,
personal
it did.
point of view,
Yes.
from my personal point of view,
Absolutely. And you know what?
I don't feel like Auburn, like the way I feel like the way I the Oregon, like they told the girls this season, Jade is not for to do the all around. She's just going to do 2 events, so don't expect her scores for the all around this season. She's saving her body for the Olympics. I don't feel like Auburn gave the girls at Auburn that same level of respect and that same level of understanding about what exactly was going on with Suni being at Auburn. Like they didn't tell the girls that Suni was just going to be here for 2 years. Like that's it. Like,
well, we didn't know that. The girls didn't know that.
correct.
They had no clue. Yeah, that was kind of sprung on them. So her coming in, the girls expected her to compete for 4 years. If somebody else behind the
Every,
scenes knew that, that was not shared with the girls. And the thing is, Jade and Suni are so different. Jade is so low key. Jade is gonna go in, and I'm sure Jade went in, did her thing. Nobody ever said that Jade didn't work as hard as the other girls. Nobody said Jade was given any different attention or requirement. Same thing with Jordan. The only thing that they said was different with Jordan is that Jordan didn't have to live in the dorms. She was able to have her own apartment. Other than that,
mm-hmm.
she worked out with her team. She was a girl's girl. There was no issues. But again, there's so many other girls that were like celebrity type girls that went
Correct.
to UCF. And
And
two,
that's what I'm talking
another
about
thing
because
that
like at Auburn, the only other celebrity gymnast that they had was Darion at the time when Suni got there. So it's
yeah.
just, huh?
And then too, when you say things like when you tell your teammates or certain teammates things like you don't really want to be there, you want to you committed too soon, um you wanted to be on a team that wins. You can't go in there and tell these girls that and make them feel like you don't want to be a part of them, because then you're going to ice you out. Like it was a lot of stuff that happened that nobody knows. Like you can't say stuff like that to your teammates and make them feel like you don't want to be there with them, like they're not good enough. They're not on the level as you are, but everybody worked hard to get to where they were. And at the end of the day, you're a team. Everybody do your part. Because there was a lot of eyes, like you said, a lot of eyes. And I'm gonna tell you, if they were smart, you know what my baby said? She said, "Yeah, they worried about the amount of attention that's on Suni." Darian said, "One thing I'm gonna do: my hair gonna be done, my face gonna be beat. Because if she's bringing attention to Auburn, if they looking at her, they're gonna look at me. They're gonna see me too." That's how she handled the situation. Because my girl was like,
And that's
"I'm
how
gonna do
you're
what I do,"
supposed to
and
handle
I
it.
can tell you, they didn't just watch Suni. I can tell you how many celebrities and NFL players and stuff that were in my baby's inbox because they were watching the team. Yes, Suni was the name that was in lights, but they were watching, because you can't not watch. You got to watch everybody that goes before Suni goes, before you even get to her. So it was a lot like
Absolutely.
that played. It was a lot that played into that, and I feel bad for her. I hated the fact that I felt like she should have cleared it up. Like I have girls that are calling me that was like, "Can you call your friend Makayla? Because I want to. It's time for me to tell my story." I had to. I literally had to stop a lot of girls from wanting to put stuff out because I was just like, regardless of what she said, her mental health got to come first because she going to go out there and compete. My baby's getting
Mm-hmm.
attacked on the back end, but I'm concerned about her mental health. We're not the same. So, I mean, I wish her luck, and it's sad because I know she's had a conversation, and she feels like gymnastics is all she is, and I pray that she gets
Yeah,
past that, because you got to learn that when your season is over, it's over. Some girls don't know how to transition out of gymnastics into real life. We always had a plan for that. So,
absolutely. And just because somebody had a bad experience, don't make the actual experience bad. That could be just their personal perception of it at that moment in time, and then they could look back at it in a couple of years and be like, you know what? I realized why people were acting this way towards me. You know, it wasn't necessarily that bad. I just thought it would be. I thought it would be something else, but I have to realize that it wasn't that, and it was this, and this was good too. And sometimes it take
Right,
people some time to be away from it before they gather that. You know,
right. Because it was like one day it was this story, and then the next day it was oh, I miss Auburn. I had such a great time there. These are my sisters, and they were there for me. And people were like, "Which was it?" Because she's telling a whole different story. So then it was just like, "Oh well, Auburn must have got to her PR people and told her no, no." And two things can be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There were times.
absolutely.
I mean, she didn't have her whole experience was not bad. I think that second year when the kidney stuff kicked in, and nobody knew she was
Yeah,
sick. Like she literally did not tell her coaches for 4 days that, hey, I haven't been able to pee in 4 days. That's when they caught it. But other than that, like I don't think her experience was all bad. Um, and then you
I
have to
don't
think
think so
about the things
either.
that you did that caused certain things to happen. Like Dariana had to pull her aside a lot of times. Like when they went out to the clubs or they went out to the bars, she was just like, "Bitch, you can't do the same things that we do. You have too many eyes
Hmm.
on you. So the things that we can do out there and get away with, you can't. They're waiting for you to mess up so that they can write a story about you in the tabloid." Like those are the conversations that Dariana was having with her, but yet people think she was hating because she didn't have to tell her that. Dariana was the one that walked her home from certain places when she was getting into it with girls at the bar and was about to get jumped and stuff like that. But it. I just I hope she looks back on it. And I don't think that she'll ever come back and say, "Well, my experience with the girls was not, you know, like how you guys made it seem." Because again, she didn't make it seem like they were jealous or anything. It was the fans. You know what I'm saying? And then if people
Correct.
looked into it, she said school was she didn't like school. That was the bottom line. She did not like being a college student. School was just, she was just like, yeah, no, that wasn't her thing. So, you know, I wish her the best. And like I
And there's
said, I,
a
I
lot
just
of
I pray.
people like Kayla DeCello is another one who went to the University of Florida with a lot of very famous gymnasts who also said she didn't have the greatest of college experiences. Sometimes it doesn't click for elite gymnasts to always go to college. Like sometimes that's just it too, because sometimes they just want to do big skills, 15 7 7 7 scores when that's just not what NCAA is. And sometimes it's hard for them to understand that that's just not what NCAA is.
And it's hard for them too to transition because that's one of the things that I had a conversation with Jeff and Kurt about before Darian came to Auburn. I asked them what was the difference because I think Darian might have been when she came, she was like the only one on the team that went to public school. Everybody else was homeschool. He said the girls have a
Mm.
issue with transitioning from homeschool to now you got to be out in the public. You got to be able to balance going to class and practice. And a lot of them they don't have any social skills. So I think that plays a lot into it too when you're talking about the elite girls. Because a lot of them, because Darian did homeschooling for 2 years, and then she was just like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go back to school." So I put her back in school. And it was the best thing ever because you looking at the same six people every day or not being able to. I mean, she was doing 2 a days, and she was like, "Yeah, no, this ain't for me." So that may have been too. But Suni's very social. She's social, but she can only be social with certain people, or she has her
People.
group of peers. Yeah, I used to be glad when Cheyenne came because like I used to tell Cheyenne like I'm glad you showed up because this is the first time I seen her smile all week. So she was always happy when her sister showed up, and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe she would have been happy somewhere else because, like she said, she wanted to be on a winning team.
And I think, and from my gist of it, from every time I hear Suni talk about Auburn, it kind of feels like because the head coach of Auburn and her personal head coach are brother. They're twins, right? And it always just sounds like she kind of feels like she was forced to go to Auburn. Maybe I don't know how she can be
Yeah.
forced to go, but it just always feels like she was forced to go to
She felt obligated.
Auburn. It was beyond her
She felt
control.
obligated.
Correct. And
Yeah,
even with
because
her
her
parents,
freshman
I
year.
feel like that's a big thing in Suni's life that people have made decisions for her that she doesn't necessarily agree with, and now she's dealing with those decisions now. And the
I don't
best way
think her
that she
parents.
knows how in her,
I think she stayed with.
I'm not saying her
I think she
parents,
lived
I'm
with Jess.
saying,
Oh, okay, because she lived with Jess and his wife for a while. Like they were very hands on. Where her parents kind of. I don't even think, from what I remember her telling me, like I don't even think she had to pay for gymnastics, any of that. Like they really took her on like 100%. Because there was another girl that came out with a story. She was at Auburn. She might have done her freshman and sophomore year, and then she got kicked off the team. But she went and trained. She was in a gym in Florida. She went and trained up there with Suni, and I think she lived with Jess and his wife. And she had a bunch of stories when she came back, and I was like, wow, she didn't have the best experience there. But I think too, Suni was conflicted because Jess was her elite coach. Jeff was her college coach. I don't think Jeff was ever
yes.
able to be 100% hands on with Suni. I think they both continued to coach her, and there was like some conflict when it came to that. I feel like Jess should have stayed in his place when it came to her being elite. Jeff should have coached her during NCAA, and I don't know that that happened all the time. So I think she kind of felt torn.
Absolutely. And I think that's, again, a common thing in her life where she feels torn. She feels
Mhm.
what she wants to do and then the obligation she has with other people. I think that's
Yes.
just a very common thing within her personal life. Like,
And she's a people
but
pleaser.
yes. And sometimes you're a people pleaser, you're pleasing nobody because sometimes being a people,
It
the only person you really need to please in this life is yourself.
is
So
you.
you got to do what you want to do first and let the cards
Yeah.
fall where they're gonna fall.
And that's the last
Speaking of
conversation that I
cards
had with her,
falling,
Makayla. Mm,
mm-hmm.
what happened?
Speaking of cards falling in Olympians, I want to talk about. I want to move. I want to move on. We're gonna go back to the NCAA. That's the last topic. But our good friend don't have all day in the world. Like she ain't got 5 hours to be up here indulging us like we normally do. So we got to kind of jump past. Jordan Charleston is bronze medal from a parent. I definitely want to talk from a parent, from a black person, from a gymnastics fan. Have you ever even seen anything, like even heard of anything, even on a lower level, where they're actually taking back this girl's medal for their mistake?
No, no. And that right there is just, it's crazy to me. Um, I can't even imagine, not even what Jordan is going through, but I know it's heartbreaking for Gina because as a parent, when you can't fix it or make it right and console, like there's only so much that we can do as parents. So I can't even imagine what Gina's going through because her daughter is heartbroken. And then I know a lot of the Romanian people are saying nasty things. I see people from right here in the very country that she represented that's talking crazy about her. And that's the thing that bothers me. And it's all the people, and you can tell the people who aren't genuine because this is how they start their stuff out. I love Jordan, but what? She
Mm.
did what she did, And if they made a mistake, that's not on her. Like, why is she being punished for somebody else's mistake? There's no accountability on the judge's side. So they just get to go home and sleep good at night. Meanwhile, this baby is traumatized. That's crazy. And then y'all talking all this crazy
Speak
stuff.
on it.
Like, I don't know if you've seen all the pictures, like when we put the pictures of the girls up, like on the Brown Girls
Mm-hmm.
gymnastics site, where there's people on there putting like monkey emojis and stuff like that. Like, why? And then you wonder why we feel like it's racially motivated. And then when we get upset about it, white people, like, I'm just flabbergasted that white people want to tell black people how to feel in our black experiences from the point of view of their white skin. Like, they'll never be able to understand the things that we have to go through and live through. The fact that our girls feel like they got to go out there and give 200% or be twice as good just to feel normal or just to be seen. Like, nobody has no idea what our girls go through mentally when it comes to this. And it's like, I feel so bad for Jordan. Um
And it goes back to something that you said earlier on when you said that for whatever reason, for when it comes to black women, it feels like they just expect us to shut up, deal with
mhm,
it, and to move along. Because the thing that
mhm,
you know, you see, I've been throwing hands on them Twitter streets for the last week and a half because the thing is for me that feels so egregious, that feels so racist was Anna Barbusu, who is a beautiful gymnast, cried on national TV. So this white lady cried, and Nadia Comaneci called to arms, and the whole world moved to change uh, a result that never has happened before. They never strip. If anything, they would just give people more medals. But no, in this situation, some white women cried,
mhm.
called to and did some dog whistles and
Yeah,
called to actions,
exactly.
and the whole world shook and moved. But Jordan Chiles is crying and is heartbroken, and everybody is like, "Well, suck it up."
Right.
And that's the
Because that's
part that
that's
it
what they
is
expect us
the
to do. Yep, that's exactly. And my thing is, like, if the roles would have been reversed, like, would Nadia have stepped in and done the same thing for Jordan?
I ask even deeper questions. If it was Jay Carey who they would have given the incorrect score to, would y'all would have fought this hard for real? I
No,
love Jada. I'm
I
not
I
trying to throw Jada under the bus. I'm
I don't think so. I think
would they
it
have come to
was
this would they have come to a decision, Tiki, in a week? They came to a decision
no,
literally in 4 days about her giving her
yeah,
medal back when the little Russian girl was doping at the Olympics, at the Winter Olympics, and it took them what, 4 years for them to
yeah,
finally decide to give the USA their correct medals. Paul Harm, who literally fell at the Olympic Games in 2020 in 2004, still has his Olympic gold medal, even though record proves that the scores was incorrect. So you telling me in
right.
4 days they moved mountains because some white women were crying on the internet
Yeah, it's
to make Jordan give
white woman tears.
her medal back? That's
Yeah,
that's historic, and that's racism in 2024. And if y'all don't believe that it's
yeah,
racism in 2024, go back and check your history and see how they normally handle these situations. Normally they just
right,
give out other medals.
right, right. No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And I pray that she's mentally okay, because, like, I know she's supposed to go back to UCLA. I wouldn't fault her if she
Hmm.
just decided, fuck gymnastics as a whole. I'm not going back to UCLA. I'm not going back to elite, because you see what she had just came out with her story. You see what she had to fight through mentally just to get back, like her backstory, the things that she has dealt with. She's had so much controversy, and then this, like when she finally reaches the place where she's been fighting so hard and working so hard to get to, you snatch it everything back from her. You pull the rug from up under her. Like, that's
And the thing is,
crazy
she
to me.
didn't even have to do it because if I'm just gonna be fair as a just a fair person, if they would have never changed the scores in the first place, everything would be right in the world because you know Jordan didn't do her very best floor routine that she absolutely could have done in floor finals. She just didn't. That's just the truth.
Right.
But
Right.
Cecile put in an inquiry, and the inquiry went through, and that's also the truth. And never
Right.
before have I seen in gymnastics history them change the results of an inquiry. Like that's where we're at right now. It's not even about what Jordan actually did. It's about the procedural issue. And if you can't see the racism in the procedural, the way they handle the procedural stuff, again, in part B, if Sabrina, not Anna, who never went out of bounds and who they still never explained to us why they took that tenth of a point deduction, if they would have raised her score, I think everybody would have just had to.
Right.
We wouldn't have been mad for Jordan. We wouldn't have been
Right.
sad for Jordan, but it would have made sense because we can't
Right.
physically see why they took that extra tenth of a point. It would have made sense. Nobody would be speaking or calling racism or anything if that's what the case. But it also feel like, okay, you couldn't get your one white girl the medal, so then you had to turn around, flip it, and reverse it, change the rules, change the narrative, change what we were doing, and then now it was not raising Sabrina's score now because y'all couldn't do that. Now it was taking Jordan's score down, which was
Yep.
that's not what was supposed to happen.
Right.
You're not supposed to change Jordan's score. That happened in the competition floor. That was set. What the result should have been: are you going to raise Sabrina's score or not?
Right.
And
Absolutely. I
that's
agree.
but not but but now you change the narrative in mid conversation where it's not about raising Sabrina's score. It was about that's the part that I'm telling y'all. I'm not there. I wasn't in Paris with them people, but it feels 1,000% racially motivated that
Yeah.
you couldn't get Sabrina's score changed, so you flipped it and reversed it and had Jordan's score changed to get Anna the bronze medal. Either way, you didn't want that black podium to happen. That's what it feels like to me.
And you know what's crazy? So Darren put up the all black podium thing on her Brown Girls Do Gymnastics page. Once everything started being questioned, she didn't delete the post, but it just disappeared, mysteriously disappeared. How that happened?
Mm.
And I honestly think that people had an issue. They could say that they didn't. I do think a lot of people had an issue with the all black podium. I do, and nobody, unless God Himself come and sit me down and say, "Baby, let's talk." That wasn't it. I will go to my grave believing that that was the issue. Because then when somebody put something else
It
later
was the
on,
all black podium.
yeah, somebody said later
I'm so
on
sorry.
that,
It was, in my opinion. Go ahead, baby. I'm so sorry.
oh, when somebody said that she wasn't, that Anna wasn't black enough to be on the podium, I was like, oh, y'all play too much. So the fact that somebody
I
said
will
that,
agree, Nisha.
yeah, and I just,
I will agree, Nisha, that WCC shouldn't have been attacking Rebeat in that moment either. Like they shouldn't have been saying that they could have had Simone's score change and gotten Simone the gold medal. Like that wasn't the best of way to handle that situation, but they could have.
wait, who, I missed that. Who did that?
The people who runs their WCC actual Twitter page went on a whole
She
tyrant. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. That's crazy. People be doing too much.
And I just would like to say that I made a post that has almost a 500,000 views right now, saying that is this talking about Sabrina, the forum that y'all keep saying attack beat Jordan. I don't feel like that post was attacking Sabrina. I'm just clearly saying that y'all are putting out Jordan's two bad landings. I'm saying that Sabrina also have major errors to her routine too that
Yeah,
equals Jordan's bad landings. And that's something that
right,
I feel like a lot of people are overlooking
right.
in having this conversation. Um, Speaking of overlooking, because we could talk about this, because at this point in time, I don't know if USA Gymnastics is really going to do anything about it. Because now they're talking about that USA Gymnastics are having procedural errors and they're not submitting things the correct way. So it's just a
And this is
lot.
my thing. Do they know? How do you not know the correct way to approach this? Like, are y'all doing this on purpose? Like, are y'all really not trying to get this girl her medal? Like, what
It
we doing
feels
here?
like it's purposeful because how did
Yes.
the court of arbitration, because they were supposed to inform USA Gymnastics that the court hearing was even going on, and USA Gymnastics like they never even told us this was going on, and y'all still let the court case go through. Like
Right.
it's just so much. It's just so much behind the scenes stuff that just
Yep.
seems so shady. Seems
Yep.
so like y'all are purposely trying to throw rocks and hide y'all hands, and for a long time, y'all could get. I don't know if y'all could go. I don't know if y'all gonna get away with this. I don't know. Maybe, but I just don't understand why the solution wasn't giving all three girls a bronze medal. What harm would that have been?
None.
Speaking about causing harm to gymnasts, so the next subject. Simone Biles' biological mother has decided to start doing interviews for whatever reason in life. Tiki, as a parent, um, I just don't even understand why. Lady, you can't call somebody's house. Like it's not like Simone was adopted by some strangers. Simone literally was adopted by your parents. Like Simone and you technically have the same parents. Call your father. Pick up the phone. Like I don't understand what's the point of doing these interviews.
Okay, so let me just tell you my point of view is different than most people's because everybody feels the same way as you do. And I've seen a lot of people bashing her. So I'm just going to give you from this point of view because
Please do. I love it. You know I love these things, Tiki. Please do.
my father has been an addict my entire life, right? Um, he's 70 now. We're just starting to have conversation where he's sober enough to listen and to not get triggered when I say, hey, certain things happen and you're the reason why XYZ happened. Um, and just because Simone lived with her mom's dad, we don't know if there was any open lines of communication because my grandmother and my dad had the worst relationship. For years, all I ever heard was my grandmother say negative things about my father. My dad had his own things that he was dealing with. Like we never I'm a little bit more sensitive when it comes to addicts because I know people who are addicts don't just decide that every day, like I just hell, you know what? Today is a good day to become a damn addict. I just want to be a crackhead today or whatever. It's normally some traumatic experience in their lives. At one point, I was like you because I told my dad, like, You decide to get up every day and just get high. And then you go to prison for 15 years and you're clean. And then the first thing you do when you come home is get high. Like that is something that you are willingly choosing to do. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that somebody called us and was like, yo, your dad is up on the corner and he's just doing something, right? And my dad literally beat this man down. And it was then that we found out that my dad had been molested as a child. That's what he was suppressing.
Mm.
He never told us. We know that now. So now we look at things differently. My grandmother never knew. My grandmother had her own traumas that she was dealing with from childhood, and it just was passed down from generation to generation. And at some point, like me and one of my sisters, like, we not passing that shit down to our kids. We doing. I went the exact total opposite route that you know my grandma and my dad did, because I didn't want my children to grow up feeling the same way about me that I felt about my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So um I don't I don't do I think that at least she waited until after the Olympics to say whatever. We don't know that she may have ever gotten a chance. We don't know if that person sought her out. We don't know when that was done. That could have been done years ago. Do I feel like she has a right to speak on her experience or try? Because sometimes Simone might not want to hear what she has to say. I didn't talk to my dad for 3 years. There was nothing he could tell me. He came up to me one day at church and was like, "So, daughter, you still ain't speaking to me? It's been 3 years." No, I'm not. Simone has to do it when she's ready. You know what I'm saying? And some children that are adopted don't understand why they were given up. They don't understand that a lot of times it was to give them a better life. Simone would not be who Simone is had her mother not given her up. You know what I'm saying? She knew that she couldn't do it. So guess what? Give her to somebody that can. She could have kept them with her. They could have been raised in the crack house. She did what she thought was best for her children. And I'm all about giving people grace. And if that's what, like, I just can't judge her for that. And it's just so many other, like, I've seen so many negative comments, and I'm just like, it's crazy because we could say what we would or would not do until you actually walk in those shoes. So I feel bad for her. I hope Simone reaches out to her. We don't know what go on in their household, but I really hope that they get that together, because that's still traumatic and hurtful, and that's hurt that Simone is still walking around carrying. And if nothing else,
Absolutely.
she needs to forgive her mother, not just for her mom's sake, but for herself. Because one of the things that my pastor said one day to me, he said, sometimes you have to forgive people, not for them, but for you. He said, because you staying awake at night with that stuff on your mind is bothering you. He said, and they sleeping good at night. And after that, I looked at things totally different. It's the same thing. And I feel like even when it comes to her, and I don't know if maybe people think that they're protecting her, it's the same way as people telling her she need to leave her husband. Leave that girl and her man alone. Like, she loved that man. He loved her. I don't give a damn what he said, how he phrased it, what he said. She didn't have a problem with what he said, so why should we?
Mm.
And that's just my piece.
I I can see that. I can see that, and I'm not going. I'm not saying that I don't feel like her biological mother doesn't deserve a chance. All I'm saying is it doesn't help trying to make it doesn't help making very private matters public, right? Like, and now everybody knows who her biological mother is, right? When Simone clearly has said in many interviews that she looked at that lady as her sister, not as her mom, because they basically have the same father. Her point of view, right?
Mhm.
Now you're putting stuff out there, and it's just I feel like personally, if her ultimate goal was to build a relationship with Simone, doing interviews aren't isn't gonna help. It's
Right.
gonna just
I
make
agree.
Simone mad that you're doing interviews.
Right.
Like and again, like the people could have sought you out, but again, it's still your decision what you're doing to make this relationship better or worse. And then you're speaking about this very private situation publicly is not
Right.
helping. If that's the
Right.
ultimate goal is to help bridge the relationship between you and your children who your father raised. You
Right.
need to do these things privately, young lady. Like you need to take these. Hell, instead of having Simone pay to fly you out to go to a meet, just show up. Maybe she would feel like, oh, you chose to spend your money on me and not on drugs. Oh, that would help. Like, you know, there's
Yeah.
other ways than
And you're right. You're right. Because
maybe she
they could have had a family meeting and talked about that on the inside. You're right.
and maybe she did reach out and Simone rejected it, but that's not the opportunity to start doing interviews. That's not the best. If the ultimate goal is to gain a relationship, if somebody is telling you not right now, your best bet isn't to start then doing interviews about the people. Like that's not also helpful either.
Right.
Especially if Simone in this era is really pushing that Nelly is her mom. They have whole contracts and stuff between mother, daughter, and her and Nelly. Like this is kind of like also messing with her money because now people were like, wait, if people didn't know Nelly wasn't her biological mom, they damn sure know now.
You're right. I agree.
But again, I'm not saying this, and that's why I just want. I'm not saying that I feel like Simone needs to cut the lady off. I'm just saying if your intentions is to build a relationship, this ain't it, sis. This ain't it.
Right.
Moving on to final because I know my good friend have an appointment at 1 o'clock and it's almost 12 o'clock now. Um, we have. I feel like the gym snare owe my friend an apology right now. My friend Ben told y'all it was whispers and rumors that a very famous gymnast was gonna go to the University of Georgia, and y'all told her she's done with gymnastics. Why would she leave Utah to go to damn Georgia? That don't make any sense. You don't know what you talking about. This, that, and the third. Tiki, talk your mess, girl. You was right on this one, girl. Talk your mess. Talk your
The
mess.
thing is, Makayla, I don't know why so many people have issues because I know stuff. Like I see people on Twitter, like they don't know that people send me stuff, and that's how I know what people say because I don't be checking for them people because I don't give a damn about them. But if I say very publicly, this is what's going on, I'm not gonna put nothing out there that I'm guessing. It's because I know. I know girls on these teams. I knew when how long ago did I tell you? I know girls on the team that train with Darian. So there's a lot of behind the
Period.
scenes stuff that I know. So if I say it, it's what it is. It was the same thing with the UCLA stuff. Like everybody just, I was just talking and I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm not going to put nothing out there that I don't know that is 100% correct. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I think the one person, it was, it was Kelly Land that I see that she wanted to argue with everybody about that.
Everybody.
I don't know what it is that she has against that girl, but when I tell you I pray for that lady, it's just like she has a hatred for these girls that have left Utah or spoke out against Utah. It's just like she hate them. And it's sad. Like she no, she doesn't have the academics. Lady, you don't know what she got. You don't know what she did over the summer. You know, she wanted so bad for it to not be true. Like she really wanted this girl's career to be done. Let her go and enjoy her last year or how many ever number of years she
Yeah, I
has.
think.
Like, why is it bothering her so bad? Or why does it bother anybody? Like, these girls go through enough physically and emotionally. And the stuff that I see, I think for me, because I'm in a different place and I'm not just a fan, I'm a parent of an
Mm-hmm.
athlete. So it affects us differently. Like for some girls can't handle it. Like
You're a parent of an
guys don't
NCAA national champion. Toot your horn, sis. You're a parent of an NCAA national champion. It's
yes.
not like Tiki didn't get her daughter into a very prestigious college for gymnastics. It's not like her daughter did not win an NCAA title. Like, you all should put some respect on Tiki's name when she chooses to share information with us. She doesn't have to. Because trust me, my friend knows a lot. And she just don't say shit. My friend knows a lot.
I just sit back and watch.
My friend
I sit back and
my
watch.
friend knows a lot about elite and about the NCAA. Trust.
So that's why now I'm just sending it to you. I'll be like, Makayla, did you see or did you know? And I just shut up because it's like if I put something out, and I think too, and I sit back and I was like, if I wasn't a black woman, like would they receive what I say differently? Like I wonder that.
Yes,
Okay,
they would.
so and it's the
They
same. Like what's
1%.
the lady
They
name?
would.
That lady Jessica from Gymnastics. I don't
Uh
know
huh.
what her issue is with me. Well, I do know what her issue is. Her issue is remember the time, and I ain't said nothing, but I'm just over it at this point. So y'all just tell Jessica if she want to talk to me, she want to have a conversation. Tell her hit me up, cause her sending messages to other people about me ain't it, sis. She's upset because
Oh.
remember when she put that thing up about Suni was warming up at nationals.
Uh
She put a
huh.
post up on Twitter, and I said she's not. That's not true. And I put a picture of Suni sitting sideline. She been mad ever since. So she's been sending messages to addicts. And what is Tiki's issue? Why does she have to be mean? I wasn't mean. I just said that's not true. How is that mean? Is it mean because it's coming from a black woman? Because if anybody else, there was other people literally calling her out, calling her a lying bitch, saying, Miss Goldburn, tell her. And all I said was that's not true. Right. And I'm gonna tell you why I said that. I wasn't trying to be mean, wasn't trying to be funny. And if she would have come to me instead of asking addicts why I said that, ask me, because can't nobody tell you about me better than me. Addicts don't know why I said it. But it's
Mm
just she real messy going
hmm.
behind the scenes like he gonna save her. No bitch asked me while I said it, and I'm gonna tell you why I said it. Suni was under very strict doctor's orders, not just Suni, the athletic department, her coaches, the doctors at Auburn. So if her doctor somewhere says she can't train, and now you have this woman putting out false information saying that she was warming up or training, that could have got a lot of people in trouble for some bullshit that was not true. There was a lot of people that stood to that would have had a whole lot of backlash because you're putting out false information.
Yep.
And then all she could say was, well, I was just going by what my person told me. Bitch, you don't check into that. You don't check to see if that's true. Not, and then she never apologized. Instead of her saying, you know what, Tiki, I apologize. You were right. Bitch, you talk shit about me behind my back to the wrong person. Cause how you think you could talk to addicts about me? That's dumb as hell. And then when the stuff went
That's
down
crazy.
with yeah, when the stuff went down with them announcing I don't know if it was Talladega or Wilberforce, she sent him this whole nother thing. What is Tiki's issue? Bitch, ask me what my issue is. Stop asking him. Cause he can't speak for me. Like I don't like messy stuff like that.
Mm.
She always got something to say about me. And I don't understand. But I like I said, I know she was mad because I called her out. But I had to protect my people because you lied. Bottom line. So yeah,
Period. Speak
I had to get that off my
on this,
chest.
sis.
I've been sitting on that for
Clear it up.
I've been sitting on that for 2 years because I was trying not to call addicts out or let her know. But at this point, I don't give a damn. So, Jessica from
Mm.
Gymnastics, if you got something you want to know about me, come holler at me. You know how to find me. You know how to
And
reach
that's
me.
a
I'm sure somebody will send. I'm sure somebody will send her this.
period. Wow. Yes. Clear it up. I didn't know we was going
So
there today, but clear it up.
me either. But I had no plans. But since we there, let's just put everything out on the table. I'm tired.
Um, do you think is do you know if Cecile is gonna coach at Georgia this season or is she starting next season?
It's this season.
Oh, so she's leaving W like after the Olympics, her and
Yeah.
LaRon are leaving WCC and they're moving to Georgia. Oh wow.
Yeah. I think she's
Whew.
already there. I think
Oh, okay.
he's not supposed to go until next year because remember they said her daughter is a senior or something in high school, so he would be staying back so that
Mm-hmm.
she could graduate or whatever. But she's
Oh yeah, because
starting.
I think their daughter have a one. Yeah, I think their daughter have her final year of high school, and then he's supposed to move
Yeah.
to Georgia.
Hmm.
I don't understand why he just didn't. I mean, maybe that's a lot for their family. Texas and Georgia, that is pretty far away from each other. But I think they could have made it work of him staying at WCC and her going to Georgia for half the year and coming back to Texas.
What for school?
Maybe that's too much.
I don't know. Is she
Yeah, I
homeschooled? Does she
think
go to
like
regular
she
school?
could have just. I think she goes to regular school because I know she just went to the Olympics for diving. So I know she's a diving
Oh,
athlete.
so it could have been one of those situations where she's been with her team and her coaches for so long, and now you don't want to pull her and take her somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that. They have good diving programs in Georgia, but I mean to start all over with a new team, new coaches that know you, yeah. And if they can make it work, make it work.
Um, do you think LeBron is going to try to get a head coaching job at a college or?
So I don't know. Do you see how many openings there are? Like Bowling Green, is it
There's a
Bowling Green
lot.
that has no coaches? It's like don't nobody want to coach college? There's a lot of openings. Um, so I heard through the grapevine that he is supposed to or possibly coaching at Georgia Elite,
Oh, okay.
which makes sense
That would
because
make
all the girls from
that would make sense.
Georgia they train at Georgia Elite in the summertime. So I mean, it's right there. So that's just what I heard through the grapevine. So I don't know.
That would make sense, and that would. Yeah, and then if he goes to Georgia Elite, Cecile can still have her foot in the elite world while coaching. How do you feel Selena Harris is going to do at Florida with all of this? Now Jordan is back at UCLA. I'm so
I think
excited
she's
for
gonna do
that.
great. I think she's gonna do great. I think she is with the team that she needs to be with. I think she is with the team that's not gonna feel no type of way because she's as good as she is. She can feel like I'm with a team of girls that's working as hard as I am, or that have the same goals as I do, or that appreciate what I bring to the table. And there's not a whole bunch of backstabbing people talking about me behind my back because they used to be the talk of the school and now they're not. That's just what I feel without saying too much.
um,
I think she's gonna do great because you know what? The, you don't really see a whole bunch of the jealous stuff that goes on at Florida.
no,
Jenny
you don't.
is an amazing coach. Owen is an amazing coach. Jeremy is an amazing coach. They know how to bring out the best in all their girls. They know how their girls get it. What they understand is this is a business. This is a contract. If we want to win, we need to put our best six athletes up. Don't matter if it's me or if it's you. We want the best six, and
Mm-hmm.
that's I feel like that's how they've always ran their team. That's why they've always done so well. It was never any of the people rolling their eyes in the back because Trinity always made lineups or this person always made lineups. They wanted to win. They knew what it took to win. So I mean, there's girls on that team that
And they
never
actually,
that.
and then like
What'd you say?
the Florida took it so far that they actually created an elite program within their program. So if you still wanted to do both, you absolutely have that option because now Owen is just the elite coach for the girls who still
Right,
want to do elite, and Jenny is the
right.
coach for the NCAA program. And I think that's awesome that Florida created
Yeah,
that lane. I hope more schools do that for more girls who want to do both.
right. Because if not, then all of the elite girls are going to end up going to Florida because they know they have that
Yeah,
opportunity. They can still do both.
correct, correct. Um, I'm really excited to see what is Oklahoma in the SEC this year.
I think so. Wait, was it this year? Was it? I
Woo,
think it was 2020. I think it was 2025 that they were supposed to
2025.
come.
I think so
Yeah,
too. Woo. At the SEC gymnastics, it's gonna be extra hot. It was already good, but now that
yeah.
Oklahoma is in the SEC, like that just turns that program, that division up to the next level. Like,
I just want to see if they get the same
the
scoring.
mm, mm.
So
Did
we'll see.
Oklahoma lose a lot of gymnasts, or do they keep a lot of their? I don't.
I don't even know
I don't
because
know
did they
Oklahoma's
they have
gymnastics like that.
me either. There's some of them that I followed. Like I follow certain girls on certain teams. So
Me too.
I don't
Me
I don't
too.
know I don't know who they lost and who they didn't lose.
Well, friend, I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you have things to do. Is there anything else you would like to say before we end the show?
No, I think I've got everything off my chest.
Is is your oh my god, is your son still doing his Michael Jackson one man show?
So he did a short film. So he's been
Okay.
entering his film. I don't know if you've seen it. If not, I'll send it to you. But he's been entering it into a lot of film festivals because it's like 11, almost 12
Okay.
minutes long. So I know it's been up for a lot of nominations. We're gonna go to Charlotte, North Carolina, I think October 4th. He's gonna take some of the people that were in the short film. We're all gonna go up for that particular awards. And he's actually I think he's
Okay.
enjoying the short film space a little bit more. So he's working on his next album and he's working on another short film. So that's the
Oh, that's
direction that and he's
amazing.
doing and he's working on a children's cartoon. So he's gotten into that. So he's doing animations and cartoons. He's gonna do a children's show on YouTube. So
Oh, that is amazing. That is
yeah,
amazing. Well,
yeah.
thank you so very much, Tiki. I love you
You're
and I appreciate
welcome.
it every time
Love
you
you
hop on the show with
too.
us. Enjoy the rest of
Yes,
your day,
ma'am.
love.
You as
Bye
well.
bye.
Bye bye.
All right, friend. And people, um, I'm gonna stay on for 1 second. Let me see if I did it. There we go. I want to stay on for 1 second and just wrap it up. In conclusion to this Jordan Childs conversation, I just want people to truly understand that we're not saying that it's racist that the Romanians are fighting for their medal. We're saying that it's racist for the procedural issues. And as long as you all understand that, we have nothing else to talk about. I love you all, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.